The title of today's class is The Great Mexican People. The Great Mexican People. And we're going to have the honor of hearing from an expert, Joseph Gomez. We'll be talking with him in a moment. When I first came to California about 1971, I hadn't really been raised with the Mexican people. I grew up in New York and in Brooklyn. I was raised with whites, blacks, and Puerto Ricans, so I didn't grow up around the prejudice against Mexican people. I first even heard about it is when I was doing my doctorate at the University of Texas. And then when I came to California, and I would meet people, and I'd say, well, where are you from? And they would say, I'm from Mexico. Back in 1971, a lot of times it seemed like there was an embarrassment or almost being ashamed of the background. And I thought, this is terrible. Why would anybody have to be apologetic for their background? I didn't understand it. I didn't know about the prejudice that existed. And now, 40 years later, there certainly have emerged a much more pride, sense of militancy took place and an arising of claiming the identity of the Mexican-American people. So it's changed quite a bit over these 40 years, quite a bit. Fortunately, America has advanced in a good way in this area. Now, if we look at, when you go to parks here in Southern California, you see these beautiful Mexican families, the husband and wives, the children, the grandchildren. I'm amazed by the harmony, the enjoyment of each other. And I'm so amazed by the patience of the older brothers or the fathers teaching their little ones sports, whether it's soccer or baseball, delighting in their learning it. As a matter of fact, recently I was at Penn Park, a local park, and I saw this guy, his tattoos, big guy, so gentle in teaching his little son. It was with soccer, and he was taking time. And I said, gee, I wish I had that kind of patience. And I went up to him, and I said, you amaze me. He says, why is that? I said, you're so patient. He said, no, I'm not a patient guy. I'm very impatient. I'm working on it. I said, look how you are with your son. He says, yeah, here it comes out. I'm patient here in this situation. And I said to this, and you're so lucky to have a father like that. He says, yeah, I'm a good, my kid must have been about 5, 6. He said, yeah, I'm a great soccer player. My father's teaching me. I said, you're lucky. And I've seen it time and again, baseball, soccer, whatever, patience, delight in the children, enjoying life. And when I was in Mexico, one of the drivers was driving us, and he said, you know, I don't care that much about money. As long as I can come home, relax, have some beers, watch TV. Weekends, I'm with my family. There's always a communion or a wedding, some gathering, and we enjoy each other's company. So there's a tremendous family value, relationship, so much value on the friendship. This is tremendous wealth. The richness of the relationships in the Mexican family and the Mexican-American family is tremendous contribution to our society, to see it, that we still have a standard. We have an example of a strong family life. Now, certainly it behooves every race and nationality in America, particularly in California and Southern California, to understand the background and the attributes and the greatness of the Mexican people and the Mexican-American people for a very practical reason. One, there's going to be more and more business dealings with one another. And even more importantly, there's going to be a lot of interracial marriages already happening. Because you look at the young people, if you look at other races, Anglo or black or whatever race you want to talk about, who are they going to marry? They're going to marry probably a Mexican-American because that's who they're going to be, 51% of the population. So the interracial marriages are happening. So prejudice it's going to be hard to sustain. You're going to have an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a grandchild, a child is mixing, and the mix is always powerful. It's always stronger. The hybrid's always stronger. So eventually the lines are being blurred. We've come a long way with the mixing. There was a time, I had a friend who served in the Second World War, a decorated hero. He said when he came here, he couldn't buy a house because his name was Alvarado. He couldn't buy a house in a certain area because of his name. And here he was, a decorated hero of the Second World War. That discrimination. We've come a long way the greatness of our nation, where the rights of the individual are being recognized. And look at the tremendous contributions of the hardworking Mexican people coming over, working hard, and sacrificing so that their children could have a better life, or so they can send money back to Mexico to the family, to the parents.